And when I tell you, I did not know that I was missing out on hood werewolves. Excuse me? Welcome back to Chocolate Covered Pages. I'm Kiona. So I was tagged by the lovely Darnaya, Darice. She invited us all to talk about the first book by an author that we read versus the favorite book by that author. Now I've seen this trend going on Instagram, and I'm happy that she brought it on over to YouTube so we could discuss it here. So in an effort to not have too many the first book is my favorite and that's it, because I would be saying that often for certain authors, because some of them just shot it out the park with the first book that they came out with. So for the most part, I've tried to avoid that and try to go with ones where I might actually have some differences. So let's get straight into it. Okay, before I begin, this is a good time for you to give this video a like and hype it up so that other people can watch it. So first up, we're going to start with the Queen, Toni Morrison. And I feel like this is a good one to start with because I came into reading Toni Morrison not the typical way. Like, a lot of people ended up reading Toni Morrison like when they were in school. Maybe they had some required reading, or maybe they got older and they decided to get one of her popular titles. I ended up starting my Toni Morrison journey with a book that is not one of her popular hits, I will say, and that was definitely God Help the Child. And I'm kind of happy that I started with this one because the writing compared to her more popular books, you know, is different. I felt like this was a good entry into Toni Morrison's writing because she's not, from what I can remember, because I obviously have not picked it up again since, but it wasn't super, I don't want to say literary, but like you could read it and understand what was going on. Like, it's a pretty good entryway into her stuff. It's like if you want to get into Toni Morrison, but you're not ready to get into Toni Morrison, if that makes sense. Because, you know, when you read some other Toni Morrison, you got to read and then you got to sit. Or you got to get your dictionary and you got to ask yourself, okay, what did that really mean? Like, what does she mean when she say this? Okay, let me think. You got to take time. You got to reflect. So yes, I'm glad I started with this one. But my favorite Toni Morrison so far, it has to be Beloved. And I'm only putting it in this spot because I'm saying so far. I've been collecting Toni Morrison books. Anytime I see one, and I grab it. Anytime I see one that I don't have, I grab it. And I think I have most of them. You know what I don't have? I don't have Home. That I don't have. Beloved is just, that's a book that I, you know, once I read it, I felt changed. You know, when you read a book and you realize this is a turning point in my reading life. And that was a book that really showed me like how far I could push myself as a reader. I do want to get into Song of Solomon, which seems to be a lot of people's favorite one. My girl favorite reader Jess, who also did this tag, she also mentioned that was her favorite one. So I gotta get into it. I got to get into it. And next up we have S.A. Cosby. I really enjoy S.A. Cosby books. And my first one from S.A. Cosby was Razor Blade Tears. Okay, which was good. Razor Blade Tears was definitely a good book. I feel like that's when I hopped into you know, his catalog. I caught him right there as that was coming out. I read that. I read All Sinners Bleed. And then now we come to my favorite. My favorite has to be King of Ashes. So far, that is the one that I have personally enjoyed the most. I said this before, it reminds me of urban fiction. I love a street vibe, and I love how S.A. Cosby is giving us that street vibe. It's still, it's still his normal southern crime fiction, but it feels very street because we're dealing with gangsters. And yeah, I love it. I love this. And next up, we have Tracy Brown. Rest in peace to her. Always one of my favorite urban fiction authors for many, many years. And my first Tracy Brown book was White Lines. And I want to tell y'all, this was hard for me. This was a hard pick for me because I have read many Tracy Brown books. And when I tell you, they all just hit. They just hit. Now, granted, I probably need a reread of White Lines because when I read White Lines, I was young. And White Lines was like, I remember it was like 500 pages. I gave it to my mother to read. I gave it to my boyfriend at the time to read, who's now my husband. But I was just giving it to everybody to read this book. And I was giving it to people who weren't normally readers, but they were reading a 500-page book. That's how you know it's a banger. For my recollection, I should definitely read White Lines again. But right now, when I think of Tracy Brown, the one that is tearing me up the most is Hold You Down. Like, that was vintage Tracy Brown writing in that book, okay? She tore us up. I was just talking about this recently. I can't even look at the cover of this book without feeling some kind of emotion, because she is definitely an author that you can't read her books with a straight face. You always gonna have some kind of emotion, whether you're mad, sad, crying, whatever the case is. You're gonna be feeling something when you read her book. She want to make sure that we felt her, and she definitely was felt. Her absence is definitely felt in this community. And I'm just happy that there are multiple books still left in her catalog that I personally haven't read, even though I've read many of them. But she wrote so many books that I'm looking forward to getting back into her catalog. So next up, we have the Queen of Black Horror, and that is gonna be my girl Tananarive Due. Y'all knew she would be on this list. So my first Tananarive Due was The Good House. And yeah, I did enjoy that one. I just felt like it just felt a little long for me, and I didn't realize that literally Tananarive Due, she cannot stop writing. All of her books are long. All of her books are like 500 pages and more. And I had no idea. But that is not my favorite. My favorite Tananarive Due book has to be My Soul to Keep, which is a book that I still think about. I need to go back and finish off book 2 because I keep starting it and then I keep getting distracted by new shiny books. And that book 2 has been out for that series has been complete for many years now. But I know once I get in, I gotta stay in. I can't just once I reach a certain point in Tananarive Due books, it's a point of no return, because you just really gotta continue going with the book. So then that puts me out from reading anything else, basically. And we're talking about another 500, 600 pages, basically. Next up, we have Alexis Henderson. Now, one thing I will say about Alexis Henderson is that she is an author that creates amazing atmosphere. You want an atmospheric read that is very much making you feel like you are in this place, you are in this school, you are in this this dungeon or whatever. She makes you feel like you're very much there, and that is definitely a skill. My first book by Alexis Henderson was House of Hunger, and honestly, I was not a fan of this. I really just didn't know kind of what to expect afterwards from Alexis Henderson. And she had, she had come out with a few other books, but I really loved the premise of this one, and it just didn't hit the mark for me. My favorite Alexis Henderson book so far has to be An Academy for Liars. I really enjoyed this one because one, it's set in a school. I love a school setting, and there's so much drama, and we get a main character who, her power and all the other kids that are in this school, it's the art of persuasion. This school teaches them how to force people to do things, and I thought that was so cool. I love that. I love that premise, and yeah, I really enjoyed this book a lot. Next up, we have Akwaeke Emezi, and listen, I really need to read some more Akwaeke because I have a sneaky suspicion that I might be able to knock out this book that is in my favorite section, but we'll see. So my first Akwaeke was You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, and while I did enjoy this book, I did, but then when Akwaeke hit us with Little Rot, I was like, oof. They can write. I don't typically recommend this book at all because it's not for everybody. This is definitely a book that is not for everybody. And Akwaeke is so good at writing the taboo and writing things that we don't want to see. We don't want to read the things that they write in, but it needs to be written. It needs to be talked about. And I think that they do an excellent job writing about it. And at this point, they just be hopping around from genre to genre to genre and just killing it every time. I still need to get back into the fantasy book that they wrote. And I do have very high hopes for The Death of Vivek Oji. I think that one is going to be pretty good as well. Next up, we have one of my favorite authors, and that's going to be Takerra Allen. Now, my first Takerra Allen book was Needful Noor. I completely took a chance on her because Needful Noor is long. It's like 900 and something pages. Now, why would I pick up a 900 and something page book from an author I've never read from? Ever in life. I don't know what it was, but I had a good feeling about it. I just had a good feeling about it, and I was like, you know what? Let me just see. Because y'all know I love a long book anyway. So, I wasn't super bothered because I was just like, I'll just close the book. If I don't like it, I'll just close it, it's not set in stone, so I read that, I enjoyed it, but my favorite Takerra Allen book, because I've read many Takerra Allen books at this point, and this one is still my favorite, and that's going to be Last Stop from Innocence. I love this book so much. It was recommended to me by a subscriber, and I was like, you got it. I even made a whole book review video about it, which I'll link somewhere. And y'all know I don't really be doing book review videos like that. I should probably do more of them. But I was just so when I finished reading that book, I was just like, whoa, wow. I was crying. I was in my feelings with that book, and that's how you know it's good. That is how you know that it's a good book. Now, granted, there are many other books from Takerra Allen's catalog that will still have you in your feelings, but that one, that one is different. That one is absolutely different, and it's not a series. It's a standalone, and it follows an 18-year-old girl, which at first put me off because me and YA, we kind of been starting to part ways a little bit. I'm very selective about very young main characters, but oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I took a chance on that one because I absolutely love that book so much. Next up, we have Nnedi Okorafor. And I first came into Nnedi Okorafor's catalog with Binti, and honestly, I felt a little underwhelmed by it. I know that's one of her popular ones, but it wasn't. I kept feeling like, am I reading something different? It just wasn't for me. And I went on to try a couple of Nnedi Okorafor's other books, and it just, again, I just couldn't, it just wasn't doing enough for me. And then somehow I ended up picking up the Book of Phoenix, and I really enjoyed this book. I really enjoyed this book. I'm not going to spend time talking about it because I stay telling y'all about the Book of Phoenix, but just know it's an African futurism book. You know, we're following Phoenix, and she figures out that she was made in a lab, and she's been living pretty much as a prisoner, getting experimented on her entire life, and she decides to do something about it, and the book kicks off from there. So I really enjoyed that book. I love books that just kind of set me on fire like that. You know, I love characters that just, you know, decide that they just gonna do what they want to do. I love it. Next up, we have Natavia, and Natavia is a urban romance author, but she also writes some paranormal books. Now, I started her catalog with her urban fiction book series called Snow White and the Seven Hustlers. Listen, the title is gonna get me every time. Like, if the title is hitting and it's catchy, yeah, I'm in. Well, I'm gonna read it. I'm going to read it. So I read it. I did enjoy it, but then I came across her paranormal books, right? And when I tell you, I did not know that I was missing out on hood werewolves. Excuse me? Like, yes, give them to me every time. My favorite Natavia so far is called Jasura, and this is a 3-book series, and it's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love it. I love the whole mating thing. Y'all just gotta get into it. If you love a paranormal book, or if you love urban fiction, period, but you want a little something extra on the side, because this is still giving urban fiction, but with shape-shifting, you know. So yes, I very much enjoyed that a lot. So next up, we have Lisa Jewell, and make sure you check out my interview with Lisa Jewell if you have not already. She is such a pleasure. My first book by Lisa Jewell was None of This Is True, and I really enjoyed it. I really did. And that led me to reading some more Lisa Jewell books. And then I came across my favorite. And my favorite Lisa Jewell book so far is Don't Let Him In. When I tell you, so funny, so thrilling. It's just like, it's just a book that you just gotta read. Like, cause I mean, Audacity was having a 2-for-1 special in this book. I'm telling you, like, for real. Before you decide to, if you're a single woman, before you decide to get out there and start doing some dating, you might want to pick up this book and just, you know, just read it and just see if there's some red flags that you might want to look out for, you know, because these men be scamming, okay? So that is gonna be it for this video. That was fun. Thank you, Darnaya. That was fun. I had a good time. I hope you did too. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and hype the video if you did. Make sure you subscribe for more bookish content like this, and I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye.